My colleague Siddhant Mishra is now joining us on the broadcast. Siddhant, a very important visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's at the G20 in Joburg. More on this.
That's right, Greha. So Prime Minister is in Johannesburg. In fact, a short while back, he was given a warm welcome by President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa. In fact, right now, the first session, plenary session of the G20 Summit is underway, and this time the presidency is with the South Africa. Now, talking about the theme of this event, then the theme is solidarity, equality and sustainability, and in fact the priorities are strengthening disaster resilience and response, ensuring debt sustainability for low-income countries, mobilizing finance for just energy transition, and harnessing critical minerals for inclusive growth and sustainable development. Now, Greha, in last 4 years, the presidency of G20 has been with countries from the global south, the emerging economies, Indonesia, India, Brazil, and South Africa. Perhaps in last 4 years, these countries together have managed to put forth the concerns of the countries from the global south as the top priority in their presidency. And next year, the presidency will be transferred to the United States of America, again a developed nation. So, lot of work has been done in last 4 years when it comes to the issues of the global south, the concerns of the global south, and perhaps because it was with Indonesia, India, Brazil, and South Africa, the consensus were built on many of these issues. And as I said, that India attaches a lot of importance to the G20 grouping. In fact, India's 2023 joint communique left a legacy, and perhaps those deliverables, the consensus which were built at that point in time are still serve as a basis for many working groups in this grouping. So India plays a very, very important role. Also, this grouping provides a platform for both countries from the global south and global north to come under one roof. They are the 20 largest economies in the world. And also, Greha, very important is the meeting of the European leaders on the sidelines of the G20 Summit, because European leaders are going to meet to discuss the Ukraine conflict.
Yes.
In fact, President Zelensky has rejected President Trump's 28-point peace plan. There's a lot of pressure on him to decide by next Thursday, pressure on Russia as well. Russia is also pressurizing and calling that we are flexible, we are open to talk. It's Ukraine which is rejecting. Now, Europe is standing with President Zelensky. So today it's going to be a very, very important day, because these European leaders will meet on the margins of the G20 Summit. Perhaps we could expect a strong statement coming from the European leaders.
Also, Siddhant, there is a controversy, that of US President Donald Trump boycotting this entire summit, and what has been said by Cyril Ramaphosa. More on this. And back home, of course, there is a lot of politicking that was targeted at Prime Minister Narendra Modi's attendance, with the Congress really saying that he's only going because Trump is boycotting this entire G20 summit. But particularly geopolitically, how significant is this clash that has taken place when it is about Trump not being there? And there we have some fresh shots coming in, Siddhant, and diplomacy at full display at the G20 Summit. Prime Minister Narendra Modi warmly being greeted by very many members and leaders of the various nations there at the G20 Summit.
Well, that's right, Greha. So Prime Minister Modi could be seen with the Brazilian President, Mr. Lula. And in fact, both leaders share a great rapport. In fact, Prime Minister is now meeting the other world leaders at the plenary session. A short while back, he met Saudi, I beg your pardon, the UAE leader at the plenary session. And now we are playing the visuals of Prime Minister Modi meeting the Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni. So this particular grouping is very important. As far as Jairam Ramesh's claim is concerned, Greha, So this visit of Prime Minister Modi is pre-decided. In fact, it was decided at the start of this year that Prime Minister will be attending the G20 summit, because, as I said, that India attaches a lot of importance to the G20 grouping. India's 2023 presidency left lasting legacy for the G20 grouping. In fact, still those deliverables, the communique, serves as a basis for the working groups in the G20 grouping. So India attaches a lot of importance. So it has nothing to do with whether President Trump will be attending or not. President Trump not attending this summit was announced about a month back. As I said, this visit of Prime Minister Modi was planned very well in advance, in fact, at the start of this year. As far as President Trump's policy is concerned, there is definitely a shift in United States policy for whole of African continent. In fact, when Cyril Ramaphosa visited White House, at that point in time, he accused Cyril Ramaphosa's government for not taking action against those who are killing whites in South Africa. Those were the serious charges leveled by President Trump on Ramaphosa's government. Then, in fact, in recent months, he spoke about Nigeria. He's not very happy with the Nigerian government. Then at the time of MBS's visit to the White House, he spoke about settling the Sudan conflict. So definitely there is a change in US government's strategy when it comes to African continent. And this is one of the reasons that why President Trump is not attending. In fact, the United States government has boycotted the G20 summit. Perhaps this is also one reason that there may not be the joint communique this time. There could be a chair's summary or an outcome document because United States will not be signing the draft.
Yes.
United States will attend, but they will only be attending the transfer ceremony, the presidency transfer ceremony, because next year presidency is going to USA. So they will be coming for the transfer ceremony. I guess US ambassador to South Africa will be leading that delegation. So, as I said, there's going to be a lot of important consensus will be built on a lot of important issues, but very unlikely that joint communique will be issued. This time, the G20 presidency will be issuing outcome document, chair's summary.
All right, so it is going to be a draft declaration, but what about the South African president reacting to Trump's absence, claiming that how this boycott politics never really works? In the face of all of this, how does one see Trump missing in action and Prime Minister Narendra Modi's attendance at the G20 summit?
Well, as I said, Prime Minister Modi's this visit was planned very well in advance. In fact, at the start of this year, because India attaches a lot of importance to this grouping, India's G20s has left lasting legacy for the grouping. India is the voice of the global South, and in fact, from last 4 years, Greha, Indonesia, India, Brazil, and South Africa, these 4 nations have completely, shift the goalpost of the G20 grouping from the agendas of the global North to the agendas of the global South. So that has been the achievement in last 4 years. And in fact, India has also played a role in Troika. India has been in the troika of this grouping as well. So this visit was expected from a long time. And look, even when India was hosting the G20 summit, at that point in time, world was divided in 2 blocks. Some countries were with Russia. The other were with the Western world, and it was very difficult and challenging at that point in time for India also to bring all countries on the same page to get the consensus. But India could manage to bring all the countries to sign the draft, and joint communique was issued. The main point of contention at that point in time was the paragraph on Ukraine conflict. I very clearly remember. But at that point in time also, India convinced the world leaders that, look, for the sake of at least, let's not let this grouping collapse. That was the idea. And perhaps during India's presidency, China signed, Russia signed that draft, America also signed, France signed the draft. So, for the sake of this group to continue, because this is one group where, emerging economies meet developed economies. There's one group where global South meets global North, and this grouping has to do less with the conflict, has to do more with the economy. And this is the reason that these are the top 20 performing economies of the world, largest economies of the world. But this time around, because as I said, that there is definitely a change in US policy for the entire African continent. They are not liking the way things are happening in whole of the African continent, whether it's Sudan, whether it's Nigeria, whether it's South Africa. And perhaps this is the reason that President Trump has decided to boycott the G20 summit. Also, Greha, it was in India's presidency that African Union was made the part of the G20 grouping.
Yes.
So that credit also goes to India.
Right. Thank you so much for putting all of this in perspective, Siddhant. We'll keep an eye on this big story. Prime Minister Narendra Modi currently meeting with all the other world leaders at the G20 Summit in Johannesburg.
Make informed decisions with comprehensive analysis on the go.
Strengthen your portfolio with real-time market updates on the go. Create effective strategies with insightful expert opinions on the go.
Grow on the go with CNBC TV18, now streaming live 24/7 on YouTube.
Make informed decisions with comprehensive analysis on the go.
Strengthen your portfolio with real-time market updates on the go. Create effective strategies with insightful expert opinions on the go.
Grow on the go with CNBC TV18, now streaming live 24/7 on YouTube.
Hey, thank you for watching this on CNBC TV18. Hope you liked it. For more such interesting news and updates, follow CNBC TV18 on all the social media platforms.